Welcome to The Common Fan, your go-to podcast for SEC smack talk, top 25 game day predictions, and fan-first football takes in college or the NFL. Here is your host, Bryce Tillman. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's talk ball.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Common Fan. I'm your host, Bryce Tillman, and thank you so much for making us a listen every single day. Today, we'll be breaking down the Texas and Oklahoma football preview for the 2025 season. We'll be breaking down their schedules, talking about whether the expectations for these teams are too high or too low, and what's it going to take for both of these teams to make the playoffs. And then we're going to give the team predictions on both Texas and Oklahoma. So joining me again today is Cameron Williams. Y'all said he done so good on the last show for the Mississippi State preview. We just decided to bring him back one more time. What's up, Cameron?
What's up, buddy? Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad you had me on again. I enjoyed the last podcast, so I'm ready to do it some more.
Yeah, I had some good feedback. I had some people tell us that we was crazy about our take on the Mississippi State running back room. What you think about that?
Hey, man, I got the stats to back it up now. I compiled some, so I can back it up.
He does. So, again, we're going to start off with Texas, and we're just going to talk about the schedule breakdown and go through the bullet points we have on the right. Cameron, before we get into Texas's schedule breakdown, let's talk about what their record was last year and the Vegas odds for this coming season. I know you got it pulled up right there, so hit me with Texas Longhorns first.
Yeah, so Texas went 13-3 last year. They are over under 9.5 by Vegas odds,
and that feels like a little low to me. That's
what I was thinking too.
I'm kind of on the 10 or above for Texas myself, but I mean 9.5 with this schedule, it seems very manageable. I mean, Texas doesn't have the toughest schedule by any stretch of means.
No, and I tell you, it's scary because they're projected number one in the SEC. So if our best team is over under 9.5, it's not looking good, you know.
Well, the Big Ten's won the national championship 2 years in a row, and from what I've been seeing from a lot of people, they've got them winning it 3 years in a row. So, but yeah, with that being said, let's tackle this schedule for the Texas Longhorns. August 30th, 11 a.m., opening the season with the Ohio State Buckeyes, the defending national champions. What's your take on this game?
Well, this is going to be the season setter here. This is going to be the game that sets their season, and it's going to either give Big Ten all the confidence. This is number two. This is top two teams, number 1 and 2, in the whole nation. And so these teams are going to go after it first game of the season. It's going to give each conference the smack talking ability to the other. This is what this game is going to be.
Yeah, a true road test for a new quarterback in Arch Manning. I know we've seen flashes of him last season, but not enough for us to say, okay, Arch, here's the reins. Go on up to Columbus, Ohio, and take on the defending national championships on your first ever collegiate start as a true starter for this team. And just let's see what you got. Maybe win this game for us. So I'm with you. That game right there is a tone setter for Texas and Ohio State. So this game could swing either way. And at the later of the show, we'll give our predictions on each team and talk about the teams we think that they'll drop to. So second week, we got San Jose State coming to Texas. Following, we got UTEP versus Texas. Sam Houston at Texas. Texas' second road game of the season will be going to Gainesville as they'll take on the Florida Gators October 4th. And this game right here is also a big one. I mean, Texas whooped Florida pretty good last year. I mean, it was 49-17 when Florida come to Austin. But I'm excited to see Texas travel to Gainesville and take on a much more improved Florida Gators team this year. What do you got? Just a quick thought on that game.
So this one right here is circled for me too as well. It's not really my season-making game here, but if what's true coming out of Florida's camp, Lagway, he's been in the boot all week. Supposedly he showed up at practice yesterday, right? But what they didn't tell you is that he wasn't allowed to go out 1v1. He was just shorts and T-shirt, pretty much throwing passes.
Right.
So if he's healthy, and if they go into this game, so that's first division game. If they go into this game right here and they win big, then I'll have all the confidence in Arch Manning. That's just how I feel. I got to see. I haven't seen enough of him.
Two major programs that they'll face within the first 5 weeks of season. I'm with you. That right there is going to show you what he's about and if he's ready to take that step as the starter for the Texas Longhorns. Quick note on DJ Lagway with Florida. I mean, this is kind of getting a little off topic, but I will touch on it. Talked to a few people close to that program, and they've just said, don't sweat it. It's not a major injury. Billy Napier is just super, super precautious when it comes to practice on a starting quarterback, as every coach in this country should be, might I add, this close to season. But expect DJ Lagway to be fully ready to go by week 1 is the memo I was told today. Following week after Florida, they've got Oklahoma versus Texas in the Red River rivalry. Cameron, you never know what direction this game is going to go. It is such a swing gate rivalry. I love this game. It's one of my favorite games every year to watch.
Yeah, mine too. So I kind of hold that one close to me because Levy was the offensive coordinator whenever the last Oklahoma and Texas game when Oklahoma won. So you can never. That's an Iron Bowl. That's an Egg Bowl game that you can never count either team out. And this is a Texas and Oklahoma review here, and this is the one that I feel like Oklahoma might slip in there and get a win on.
You never know with these two teams in this rivalry. And can I just say something real quick? I feel like that Texas and Oklahoma should play at the last game of season, okay?
Yes.
I understand them playing at this big major state fair. I get it. But Texas and Oklahoma is a bigger rivalry than Texas and Texas A&M. I do not care what anybody says. A&M fans can try to make themselves relevant in this. Texas and Oklahoma is the main rivalry, and that's just the sad facts of it. So, Following that, you got Texas going to Kentucky to play Kentucky. Then they got travel to Mississippi State the following week. Then they Vanderbilt comes to Texas November 1st. That was a field goal game last year. Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt came within a field goal from winning that ball game.
Mm-hmm.
The following week, though, actually, they'll have a bye week. November 15th, Texas travels to Georgia to play the Georgia Bulldogs. Can Sark get over that hump? Can he finally beat Kirby Smart in a match? We've been waiting to see it. What do you think about that?
No, man, Kirby's his kryptonite.
Yeah.
That dude, when it's a clutch situation, Kirby comes out up top every time, and I don't see it changing that. I'm big on Texas this year. I think they're going to do well. I think they're a playoff team, but they got some hurdles to go over to get there, I think, personally. And that's one of them that if anybody on that schedule can beat them, they're right there with Ohio State. I think that is the game that's going to define their season there, Georgia.
Yeah, I agree. Following week, you got Arkansas coming to Texas, and then you end the season with Texas A&M coming to Texas. And look, I wasn't knocking Texas A&M about what I was saying because this is a rivalry between them two. And this is going to be a tough game for them, too. That was a very close game. It wasn't but a 10-point game last season, 17-7. And that was in a major stretch where it just seemed like, Texas A&M thought they found their answer in Marcel Reed. And then he hits that 4 or 5 game stretch right there at the end. That was just rough for him. But he played a fairly decent ball game in that against Texas. That's a rivalry game, too. I'm not taking anything away from it. So Texas fans and the Texas Longhorns, they know to be ready for the Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah. So like you said, it's a rivalry, but at the same time, it's the Red River rivalry has been played for 50 plus years, probably. I don't know how long, but a long time. And that was a big one when they brought it back last year. That's a big game. So I think that one trumps Texas A&M.
So are we too high or too low on Texas? I don't think that the media, not us, are they too high or too low on Texas? And to be honest, I think they're right there where they should be. The expectations for this team should be high. The ceiling should be high. It's time for Sark to get this team through the playoffs to make a win a national championship. Like, I feel like that everybody's expectations are extremely high for Texas, as they should be. Like, I feel like it is time for them to take that corner and come home with that trophy. So I don't think that expectations are low on Texas. I don't think anybody's got low expectations on them. I think they're high, but it's for a reason. But the question is, what's it going to take, you know? So we're talking about the too high or too low on this team. What do you think? Or do you think the expectations are high or low for?
So in the media, in the eyes of the media, this is the number one team in the SEC. So, and you automatically think, well, they're high on them, but they're really not, because they're 9.5 over under Vegas odds.
Yeah, regular season win. That's strange to me.
So that tells me they're really low on them in the season. But are they low on Texas? Or are they low on the SEC in my eyes? Because if they're a playoff team, they're the top two teams in the nation through every media outlet.
Or does Vegas just know that the SEC just brutally beats up on each other year in and year out? I mean, how many years have we? I mean, we've seen that our whole lives. You know, we've seen a Kentucky go down to the wire with the Georgia Bulldogs last year. You know, win that game 13. Georgia ended up winning that game 13-12. You know, so is it that that Vegas is low on Texas, or as you said, the SEC? Or is it they just know that it's a gauntlet that we go through week in and week out? I mean, I guess time will tell. You know, time will tell about that to see what they really thought about and where they base these odds off of. I don't know. It's strange. I can't remember a time at the highest Vegas odds for SEC team was 9.5. I'm shocked that Georgia's is not higher than that. That's strange.
Yeah. So I don't think they're too high on them, but I also don't think they're high enough. I think that if this is going to be our number one team and to be in the top four of the playoffs, I'm looking at a 10, 11 win team, right? Got to be. So I'm over on them already in my eyes, and I believe they will hit that 10 win mark. They got a gauntlet to go through, though. I mean,
so looking right here, it says that Georgia is tied with them for 9.5 wins.
Yep.
That's
they're both elite.
Yeah, but elite odds are not 9.5 wins. So I'm with you, man. I'm kind of wondering how they're measuring this. So I agree. Well, let's talk about what you got. Go ahead.
The 9-3 record is on the verge of not getting in the playoffs anymore. That's my concern of where we're at, is if we're going to have they're expecting the four SEC teams in the college football playoffs. Well, if we're only 9-3 with our top team, where does the rest of them fall in at? So,
well, essentially with the 9.5 total, they're either betting that you're going to win 10 games or 9 games, right? I mean, that's how it works. So,
yep.
I think that if you even go back and look at Texas' schedule right here that we just went over, they would, with the 9, like to be under 9.5, you would have to lose to Ohio State, drop your Georgia game, and then lose the Red River rivalry, or lose Texas A&M to get you at that
Georgia.
9.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying that you would lose to. Based off what I'm gathering, they would say that there's a possibility that Texas loses to Ohio State. Of course it is. I mean, that's a big game.
Yes.
The Red River rivalry or Texas and Georgia, or Texas A&M and Texas. Cameron, looking at this schedule, man, I think even if Texas goes 9-3, winning or losing 3 games before this Texas A&M Texas game, I don't think you can keep the Texas Longhorns out of the playoffs. I don't think you can with this schedule, because this is not it's not a tough schedule, but it's got a lot of reputable teams that'll be in it. So we're gonna dive into our predictions and stuff later at the show. That threw me off, man, with the predictions for Texas. I mean, with the Vegas odds only being 9.5 for them and Georgia is crazy. So all right, well let's go in and just you want to touch on that real quick? You got something to add to that?
Go ahead.
Let's talk about the Oklahoma Sooners football schedule. Before we get into that, I know you have the previous record and the Vegas odds from last year for the Oklahoma Sooners. So why don't you go ahead and give us that?
Yeah, so they went 8-5 last year. Vegas odds has them over under 6.5. So they're expecting them to be on a down year.
I think that's what it was last year for.
They had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, last year. But
yeah.
I'm saying I think preseason last year they were only rated for maybe 7 wins even. So I don't know how to check that out.
24/7 Sports has them ranked 12th in the transfer portal. So they done good. They went and got some people. They spent some money, and I think that they definitely upgraded their roster. And I think they got some key players and a coach. So not only did they get Mateer, but they brought his coach with him from Washington State. Arbuckle. So them two are jiving. So
right.
They already know the system. They already work together. So I think they'll be right in place.
We'll touch on that, but when we get to our next segment, when we get our predictions and stuff. But yeah, Arbuckle's a good coach. It helps out with Mateer coming into the system. So we'll see. 12th in the transfer portal for them. People say, well, that was a good transfer. That was good, but it consisted of Jay Knott and John Mateer, which is one of the 2 top position transfers that entered the portal. So nailing both of them definitely boosted their rankings versus what else they added. So we'll see. August 30th, they open the season at Illinois State. Illinois State coming to them, August 30th. Then the second week of season, you got the Michigan Wolverines coming to Oklahoma. Yep. That's an odd game. I like that game. That's just different to me. What you think about that game?
Yeah, so that's going to be the tempo setter too. They're coming in preseason 20th.
It's eerily similar. All right, so I just thought about this. Texas, Ohio State, and then Oklahoma and Michigan. Ohio State and Michigan, the biggest rivals, right? And then you've got Texas and Oklahoma, and in our opinions, they're the biggest rivals. So it's strange that both of these teams scheduled these other 2 rivals in the first 2 weeks of season for both programs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is another one of those smack talking games. Whoever wins it's going to carry the momentum to the season.
I agree. This game right here will show everybody what John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle and Jade Knott and the additions that they made. It's going to say, hey, our offseason worked, it paid off, or you're going to be going into conference play with a lot of questions for this football team.
Yeah.
So week 3, Oklahoma going to Temple. Who in the world made the schedule? Who made the schedule for Oklahoma to travel to Temple? So, then you got the following week, Auburn coming into town. That would be their first SEC conference matchup. Then you got Kent State coming the following. They have a bye week in between that, and Kent State comes in. Then you got the Red River rivalry with Oklahoma and Texas. And then you've got Oklahoma going to South Carolina October 18th. That's going to be a very interesting matchup.
Yep.
That's
going to be a good one too.
Yeah, that's going to be a very good one. I think Oklahoma fans and Gamecock fans need to be circling that game on your calendar because that's one of them pivot games of the season. I believe that's a game. That's a toss-up. If you get it, that boosts your season. If you don't get it, then it could, downgrade what you was predicting to be at towards the end of your season right there. October 25th, you got Oklahoma and Ole Miss, with Ole Miss coming to Oklahoma. Following week, you've got Oklahoma going to Tennessee. You have a bye week, and then you've got Oklahoma traveling to Tuscaloosa, where Oklahoma, nobody expected this game last year to go the way it did. Well, Oklahoma, and Jackson Arnold was there, he's gone now, but they just ran the ball right down Alabama's throat last year, just play after play after play. They said, hey, we don't care that we're throwing on to a whole team of walk-ons right now. We'll just run this daggum tater down your throat. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. And I can promise you the Alabama Crimson Tide have November 15th circled on theirs because they want to get some get back after that game.
Absolutely. I agree.
So then you've got Oklahoma and Missouri, when Missouri comes to Oklahoma November 22nd. This is two teams that used to play each other a lot too when they were both in the Big 12. These teams have some history with each other in itself in the past years. And then Oklahoma finishes the season with LSU November 29th. This schedule is not an easy schedule, Cameron.
No, not at all, man. I don't think any schedule out there is SEC slated. Everyone ought to look at it's. So they go through this win, loss, or toss category, and I can see it going either way. I mean, look at last year, Alabama. You thought that was just a definite W for Alabama, and what they win 24-3. Alabama didn't score a touchdown.
Especially at that point of season, how Oklahoma was doing up to that, and then how Alabama had squeezed through some and dropped two at that point. They still looked very good. They still had playoff hopes there. And then dropping this game was like deflating them. So this Oklahoma team is what kept Alabama home last year, where they was watching playoffs on the couch just like me and you were.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
they have not forgotten about this. That's going to be a tough game. So now that we've went through the schedule, we need to talk about, are the expectations too high or too low for the Oklahoma Sooners? Cameron, my first thought is I have seen tons of media, tons of outlets, tons of posts on X. People are all about the Oklahoma Sooners, and I'm not there yet. I am not on the John Mateer train. I'm not on the Ben Arbuckle has come in and is going to save the day. This team went through injuries after injuries last year, after 3 offensive coordinator changes in one season, after Brent Venables being on the hot seat, whether people want to admit it or not. Like they just didn't have things going their way. They had a 5-star plus recruit that was Gatorade National Player of the Year playing quarterback that was getting rushed 90% of the time that he took a snap and was either knocked down or sacked 55 times in one season. And he didn't even play every game. That was his stats when he was out there. So when I look at this Oklahoma team and I look at their transfer portal rankings, I'm like, 12th in the nation. That's not bad. But then I look at who they signed. And it's like, they're 12th in the nation because they signed John Mateer, who was the second highest rated portal quarterback. Well, Beck being one, I think John Mateer might have actually went into second and jumped Arnold. They got John Mateer, and then they got Jay Knott, who was arguably probably the top 5 transfer portal running back that entered. So he might have even been number 1. You might can look that stat up and see. I think he might have been number 1. So when you look at this, when you nail 2 positions in the transfer portal rankings, because they're weird compared to high school rankings. That's why they got 12. But what you don't see is they didn't go out and get the number 1 offensive tackle in the portal. They didn't even get the number 2 offensive tackle in the portal. They got some offensive linemen, but it's from people that they're not from reputable programs. I mean, you look at Stanford, they got that Jake, I don't even know how to say his last name. You might help me out. Kula?
I've seen that too.
And then Derek Simmons from Western Carolina. I mean, you've got higher hopes for Oklahoma than I do. Yep. So give me your thoughts on Oklahoma and why. I mean, tell me what the hype is from with this team?
So their offensive line, they're big, they're athletic. I think adding John Mateer. I'm a John Mateer fan. I encourage everybody to get on here. Hey, go look up John Mateer highlights from Washington State last year, and dude, he can play ball. So I'm a John Mateer guy now. It's different than the SEC. Everybody knows that. So I'm not just sold out like, yeah, they're going 12-0, but I want to see what he can do because I have high hopes for him. And Jaden Knott, I mean, that guy right there, like you said, number one in the portal going in. Dude, he played ball. He played with Cal, and he was a breakout star there. They're predicting him breakout star already this season, preseason. And what I like about them two guys is they're already saying they're the top leaders in that locker room. So you know if people can rally around them guys, they become one, play together, they jive. They got the offensive coordinator that Mateer played with. He knows him. So I feel like I got good hopes for him now. But I wanted to throw you, since we're on this too high or too low, I wanted to throw this at you. And I didn't tell you this before, but I want to get your take on it. So you know who Cole Kubelik is?
Yeah.
Big Auburn guy, ESPN SEC Network guy.
Yeah.
He has ranked Oklahoma's defensive line number one in the SEC.
Possibly. I'm not going to push back on that too much. I mean, this Oklahoma defense was stout last year. I mean, I see it. I don't have I'm not going to push back on that.
So what they have Jaden Jackson, Grayson Halton, Dominic Williams, David Stone, and edge guys, Mason Thomas, Marvin Jones. Now, all of those guys they've been playing a while. They know the system. They know how to make the plays. The edge guys. The only problem they're going to have on the defensive line is injuries, and that's just the story of Oklahoma's injuries. So,
it's
Marvin
SEC
Jones,
ball in general. You know, the injury bug bites. If you don't have depth on your team, that's why I'm not sold on this team yet. I don't think they have the depth there. Like Texas, like to compare them to Texas right now. Texas has got a roster full of 5 stars. I don't think Oklahoma does. I don't think they have that yet.
No, they don't. But this is the team that also can shock you, right? Yeah. So I'm the type that I'm not going to bet the bank on it, right? I'm not going to go out there and put it all on the line for Oklahoma. But if they come in, they're 6-0, 7-0. They go through and beat Michigan. I'm like, hey, these analysts was right. I'm getting behind them a little bit. Brett Venables now.
That's what me and you talked about. I think if they go out there and make a statement that Michigan game, that everything I say about Oklahoma up to this point will be dog water. Throw it away. Don't listen to me. Y'all can come at me and say, hey, Bryce, you don't know football. Quit doing podcasts, whatever. But look, we're going to get into the predictions at the very end here, but we're just touching on some things that they've done to improve. And if you got another point that you want to make about Oklahoma before we start touching on Texas.
No, I'm good. I think I said everything.
Look, I know John Mateer's good, right? Mm-hmm. And then we talk about, he only played. Look where he played at Washington State, and then the argument that people have is, that's where Cam Ward played at, and Cam Ward come over and he was the number 1 draft pick. Well, Cam Ward went and played in the ACC. Okay, they don't have very stout defenses there. You know, John Mateer's coming to SEC, playing big boy football against some big boy teams, and I've just questioned if Oklahoma have amped up and added to that offensive line enough to protect this guy, because I've seen quarterbacks get put in graves at Oklahoma last year. So that's my biggest concern for him.
You know, the key to SEC play is the defensive line. If you can get pressure on the quarterback, you can cause disruptions.
It's winning the trenches. It's winning the trenches.
Winning the trenches. And I see that.
Oklahoma didn't have a problem winning the trenches last year on defense. But they didn't win the trenches on offense. So that's where I think, that's great that they made this addition to the defensive line and they've got all these recruits coming in and they're stacked. Do it on offense. You got to do it on offense too. So that's my thought on them. And at the end, we'll give our predictions or whatnot. But talking about Texas, I mean, we got to jump back on this train, man. Arch Manning coming over, and is officially the starter for Texas as QB1. And I'm higher on Arch Manning than I am John Mateer. I'll tell you that, buddy. And I know that people say, well, why did you not look at John Mateer last year? I did. I did look at John Mateer last year. I know that what he's capable of. But to me, I'm higher on Arch Manning right now. And by the second week, just like I said about Oklahoma with John Mateer, by the second week, everything might be changed. My perspective might be swapped for these two teams, with Arch going week 1 up to Ohio State playing them. But aside from Arch, they've got the best linebacker in the conference right now. People can talk about C.J. Allen. People can talk about DeMarcus Riddick. People can talk about – his name just left me, went blank from Alabama. They can talk about these guys all they want. Anthony Hill Jr. is the best linebacker possibly in the nation, but I know in the SEC. Like, he's that dude, man. So when you have Arch and what he brings to the table on the offense, along with his what's that young receiver they brought in?
Wingo? No.
Well, Is it Wingo?
Well, Ryan Wingo's their number one receiver.
Yeah, that's him. He's not young. What is he? He was there last season. Yeah. So with Arch Manning and Ryan Wingo and Anthony Hill Jr. on that defense, man, I mean, Texas is not a team that really has to go out and kill the transfer portal. Not when they're signing number 1 ranked high school classes and they're developing there.
Yeah.
What's some quick notes that you've got on them? Because I'm high on Texas, man. Like I said,
man, I am too. But I'm gonna tell you, like everybody else in this media outlet, just crown him. Everybody hears Arch Manning, Arch Montana, or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
He started 2 games, and he looked good in those 2 games. But is 2 games enough for us to say, well, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC?
I don't think so. I think that I get my judgment off of this about the team that's surrounding them.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you put John Mateer right here and you put Arch Manning right here, one-on-ones, John Mateer wins it every day of the week. I'm not pushing back on that. I'm just talking about what surrounds them. Is why I think that Arch is set up in a more successful position than John Mateer is right now.
Yeah, the people around him. So that's just it. We talked about the offensive line for Oklahoma. Are they going to be able to protect, to keep people off of Mateer? We know what Texas has got. Them dudes they're all 5-star recruit, big guys, biggest guys in the league probably. But no, they don't have no problem recruiting. So Manning is going to have the upper edge with just the people around him. I mean, he's got the better roster around him. I love Manning. I mean, the Mannings was a top part of our, that's what we watched when we was growing up. But I think he's got wheels. He can run. He can throw. He's got beautiful deep ball. And he's really smart, and he's very mature for his age. Just every interview I see him. So I think he's going to be good. But you got to realize his first game he started was University of Louisiana Monroe. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 interceptions as well.
Right.
So he's going to have growing pains. I mean, he's young. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders too. I mean, he's carrying a lot of pressure. And
when I look at this Texas defense, though, like going on the other side of the ball, Anthony Hill Jr., Colin Simmons, Myron Charles, Joshua Sharma, and then they hire the number 1 signed Justice Terry, that defensive lineman that had come all the way down to the wire last year, top 100 prospect between them and Georgia, and they got Justice Terry, what ended up putting them at that number 1 high school recruiting spot. And I mean, this is a kid that'll play day 1 out there. He's big, he's physical, he's explosive. So I think that these 2 teams, and this is why we decided to put them together, they have a lot of similarities, but they have a lot of differences as far as both defenses of these teams are stout. They're great. I have nothing against Oklahoma's defense, and I have nothing against Texas's by any means. The quarterback situations are alike, and then there's a lot of difference between the 2 of them. And what it boils down to, in my opinion, with these 2 teams is the personnel surrounding them is either going to make or break both of these quarterbacks.
Yep.
Is there any other points that you would like to add to the Texas side of things before we get into our predictions?
No, let's get into them.
All right, so the overall record predictions that I have for the Texas Longhorns, I have them going 10-2 in regular season. I have Texas dropping Ohio State week 1, and then I have them dropping against Georgia November 15th.
And I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm a 10-2, and I'm 50-50 on 2 games. I feel like Texas is going to have the upper hand, the Oklahoma game and the A&M game. I liked Auburn's chances against Oklahoma. Are we talking Texas or Oklahoma?
We're talking Texas right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Oklahoma. Yeah, Texas. So, yeah, I'm 10-2 as well on them. I see Texas probably losing the first game of the season, Ohio State. And then, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to get out of Georgia.
I don't either.
They're not going to get out of that game. But the Oklahoma game's a 50-50 on me as well. You can never count the Red River rivalry out. So I'm 10-2. I think they're going to pull it out, but they got a tough slate.
Hey, look, 10-2 is only one conference loss. We're losing to Ohio State and Georgia. You're in the SEC championship game with that.
Yeah. I predict them going to the playoffs and going to the Final Four. I see them going Final Four.
Okay. What's your final record prediction for the Oklahoma Sooners?
I'm 9-3 on them. I'm 9-3, and only because there's multiple toss games, and if you break them down and they get half of them, I see them winning the first 4. I see them knocking off Auburn just because it's in Norman. I think that's a very balanced team, both of them. But because it's in Norman, I feel like Oklahoma's going to take that one. They're going to drop to Texas, and they're going to for sure drop to Alabama. Unfortunately, they're not. Alabama's coming back for revenge.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And it's in Tuscaloosa.
So who's their third loss?
It's a toss-up between South Carolina and I think LSU is going to be much better this year.
Yeah, I do too. And our LSU previews have dropped this week. I'm very high on the Bayou Bengals this year. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I got Oklahoma losing more. I got Oklahoma going 8-4, and they will not make the playoffs. With your 9-3 take, do you think Oklahoma makes the playoffs with a 9-3 take?
Yeah, I think they're fighting for that number 12 spot.
You got them slotted in at the last spot.
Yeah, I got them squeaking by, but I feel like they got the team to do it. And I could be wrong. I haven't seen John Mateer in the SEC, but I feel good about him. I do.
I have Oklahoma going 8-4. Now I think they'll beat Illinois State. I think they beat Michigan. I think they beat Temple.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when Auburn coming to Norman, first conference game of the season, I think with Auburn already first week of season going to a road atmosphere and playing a tough Baylor team, I think that Jackson Arnold will be dialed in, and he's got something to prove against these Oklahoma Sooners. He's coming back. The same school shunned him away. He's coming back, and I'm expecting him to blow up in Norman. I have Auburn winning that football game. I have Auburn beating Oklahoma, so that'll be Oklahoma's first loss of the season. I've got Texas beating Oklahoma. I've got Alabama beating Oklahoma, and I have LSU beating Oklahoma. Well, I have Oklahoma finishing their season 8-4, probably getting into a New Year's Six bowl, possibly. But I don't see them making it to the playoffs. I got them dropping to the playoffs. Now they'll probably get into a good bowl game and get a 9-win season under the belt, and that probably keeps Venables there another year. Yep. But I'm not high on Oklahoma as other people, and until I see them put together the pieces and additions in the transfer portal, I just don't see them being what they need to be yet. So we got Texas going 10-2, and I've got Oklahoma going 8-4. You've got them going 9-3.
9-3, and I tell you what, man, this all rides on the injury bug, like you said. They had 5 receivers go out last year, and they can't have that again, or they won't be. I mean, they'll be a 6-6 team at best, if they start having a lot of injuries. And Texas, man, I'm strong on them. I think that they're the best besides Kirby. I think Georgia and Texas is going to be neck and neck. I think either one of them could take – I think both of them is going to end up in the playoffs. But I think Kirby he's got it figured out how to beat Sark for sure. He's shown it too many times.
Yep.
I will say about Texas, I didn't touch on this a while ago, just to add just some news I've come across on the depth of the O-line. I've done seen where Kyle Flood's – I'm worried about them a little bit on the offensive line. Bringing backups in, one person goes down. He was in a scramble. Ended up moving the center to guard and then bringing a young center in. So moving those positions like that, not having, a right guard to go in that's ready to go, or left guard or right tackle, and having to swap centers out just to get your guard where you need him, that concerns me a little bit. So that's another thing, man. If you can keep them O-line healthy on that Texas bunch, I think Arch do good. But if you start having some discrepancies in the offensive line and you got these defenses in this SEC coming at you, you could be in trouble too. That's why I'm not as high on Arch as everybody else, but I got to see him play. Yeah,
absolutely. I get it. Hey, do you have anything else that you want to add before we get off here?
Man, I don't think of anything, but hey, it's a good show, man. I appreciate all the content you're putting out. Appreciate you having me on. We're
gonna keep it going. We got a big week ahead of us this week. We got LSU, Florida, Alabama, Ole Miss, and we'll probably try to squeeze one more in there somewhere. So, y'all stay tuned, man. Appreciate it. It's been the Common Fan.
You've been listening to the Common Fan. See y'all next time. Same time, same tailgate.